we had a story adjacent to the box office because the top three movies, they're doing really, really well.
Yes.
Wicked is doing well,
Mm-hmm.
but not everyone is happy with Wicked. Like one of the co-stars in Wicked, namely one Marissa Bode, who happens to be in a wheelchair in reality and in the movie. She isn't too pleased because she feels that there have been made some gross and harmful comments that no one have seen about her character's disability. Now, I haven't seen anyone complaining about the person in the wheelchair, but that's me. Have anyone else seen anyone complain
No.
about the character in a wheelchair in this movie that all the ladies in the target audience appears to love?
No, and they don't even specify what is said other than people joking about they want to push her out of the wheelchair. I've never seen anything like this. The closest thing I've seen to any of this stuff, and I brought this up before the show, was people finally coming to the realization of some of the stuff I've been pointing out, and that is the problem with building this upon the MGM film is vicariously now, this will make Dorothy a piece of shit for dropping a house on a crippled person.
Why is she a star?
I don't even know who this person is. Yeah. And no offense to her. And isn't this kind of part of the problem with casting people who actually have these disabilities in these roles? Isn't that kind of maybe feeding into that perhaps?
I don't understand. I mean, clearly, there were some ruby red slippers. They were worn by a person that was, standing. There's no sign of a wheelchair. I mean, that's weird stuff. But no, I haven't heard any of this.
You have to keep in mind, though, that the Wicked book is not an official Oz book; it's Oz fan fiction, and the Wicked play.
I am so sick of hearing this though, because it doesn't matter. The general public doesn't care.
They don't know. No, they don't know.
That's my point. That's the point that bothers me. Is everybody who keeps pointing that out to me like it's some excuse for this movie to get away with its fucking stupidity. But anyway, that being said. Yeah. Here's another point of its stupidity. You were saying Culture or Andre, whoever.
Nothing important. I just this is just dumb because I went looking for this when I saw this the other day, and I'm like, I don't see any of this. Right. I couldn't find it. I went on social media. I'm trying to find the comments, and I didn't see anything. I mean, what is it? Is it over on Blue Sky? I mean, where only certain people are because
Yeah, when I saw the story, I was like, okay, because when I see these things, I'm always like, okay, what did somebody say? And even if somebody said it, that doesn't necessarily mean we're talking about representative of the wider public or anything. So I went through the article. They don't even partially quote or even star out some bad words or something. It just says it happened. And this, as I was saying before the show started, this feels like something that a studio or someone would drum up in the face of legitimate criticism of a film in order to turn a victim narrative into a flagging project.
Like
except that Wicked is doing well.
Yeah,
like Moses Ingram, like name your Disney Star Wars thing in general.
Rachel Zegler,
yeah. But in this case, it's like, and then like Tom said, like this is what happens when you hire people that have to be in real life what they fit their character situation in the movie. Any criticism, if there was any, and maybe there was some like real big fans of the Broadway show who had something to say about the performance of the girl in the wheelchair. And it's like, oh, now you're being ableist or something. Like, but why feed the trolls in a situation where the movie's successful? No one is, the whole Cynthia Erivo thing really didn't seem to deflate the sales of the entire project. And so, do you just need some more attention for this particular actress, or I don't understand the logic of it unless it's just I'm not feeling victimized enough.
It seems like the one thing that they probably couldn't. What I'm getting at is okay. So the Ariana Grande thing where she slept with the married guy who just had a kid, like that just kind of went. Nobody cared. The whole Cynthia Erivo thing, it blew up for a little bit, but then it almost like it got taken over by their press tour shit from last month. Like all of a sudden people started noticing that stuff and it kind of became a meme. So like that stuff, even people who on their side of it have found a way to embrace the stuff that we've been making fun of. Right. So like, this has like been a movie so far that has almost been bulletproof. And to me, I think you're right. This is something that could derail this whole thing in a weird way because it's like, why are you bitching about this? Like, I haven't seen any of this, and the movie's successful, so fuck the two people that said anything anyway if they're being jerks.
I mean, I've only seen 2 comments. I'm scrolling. I've only seen 2 comments, and one of them was selling wheelchair covers.
Capitalism.
And
I'm sorry for laughing.
And the other one was some idiot saying a comment saying, I'm watching Wicked and how the sister gone be embarrassed that her sister Green, girl, you in a wheelchair. That's the most extreme comment that I've seen.
Is this a major character in either the story or the play? I've never seen Wicked. I've never read the book. I didn't know that the other Wicked witch was in a wheelchair.
The witches are not related in any way in the book.
No.
Okay.
So when the house, she is the one that the house gets dropped on.
Right. Yes, I understood that part. Yeah.
So in the book, they have no care for each other. All she wants is the goddamn shoes. She doesn't care about anything else. The Wicked Witch doesn't. So now what you're doing is adding a whole nother layer to this. Not only is that her sister, as we thought, as they say in the MGM film, but you're talking about her sister who she had this huge love for and cared for and was disabled. And obviously, you know what those magic shoes did? They helped her walk.
Well, you know what? If she had a Stairmaster, she might have avoided the.
You're right.
How would she even be able to use the powers of the shoes if she wasn't able to use her legs? Because you can't click your heels together.
Well, I'm assuming that the whole point of them being magic slippers is that they helped her walk in the first place.
Well, actually,
wow,
in
that's cruel.
In the movie so far, we don't see that. We just see that it's like a gift from the father who loves this daughter. She's the favorite daughter, the one in the wheelchair, while the father hates the older daughter.
Oh, I could spoil this whole thing for everybody right now if I wanted to.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I mean, those shoes would then eliminate her identity as a disabled person.
There's a reason for that.
Oh.
Yeah.
It would, actually, wouldn't it? Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, I know. I can't do that.
But were they Louboutins?
You have to remember, everybody has to, identify themselves with their disability first and foremost and live that disability.
Yep. This movie identifies with my life.
And I sent you in the background.
Six, I love you.
She's on fire today. Tom, I sent you in the back.
Yeah, I got it ready here, actually.
Right.
So this is the actual response. Is this what it is?
I don't know what it is. I did. This is her talking about it.
Oh.
Hey. It's basically been a week since Wicked came out. Exciting. I've loved seeing people's reactions. All the love for the movie. I'm a fan, obviously. But there's something that's made me a bit uncomfortable. And as somebody who's disabled with a platform, I just wanted to talk about it really quick.
With a platform.
Starting off by saying 2 things. I have my laptop here. By the way, I'm reading my thoughts because I get scatterbrained, and if I don't have my thoughts on a paper. Anyways, it is absolutely okay to not like a fictional character. I am going to be admitting
I haven't listened to a single word that she said because I've noticed she's got huge tits. Anyway.
My bias in the way that I have a lot of different feelings on Nessa than a lot of you do, and that's totally
fine. Well, so far it's just regular virtue
Nessa's
signaling.
Complex. But that's the beauty of art and Wicked. These characters and the movie wouldn't be what it was if there weren't different opinions on the characters and who's truly Wicked or not. And not liking Nessa herself is okay. Because she is fictional. That's totally fine. Number 2.
But
I am a deeply unserious person. I love a little jokey joke. The house jokes, silly, goofy, harmless, because the basis of the joke is fictional. Jokes about Nessa's actions or personality, silly, goofy, because she herself is fictional. That being said, and if you are looking for the comments in my comment section, I've attempted anyways to delete most of
course.
Aggressive comments and jokes about Nessa's disability itself is deeply uncomfortable because disability is not fictional. At the end of the day, me, Marissa, is the person that is still disabled and in a wheelchair.
I see.
And so it is simply a low-hanging fruit that too many
Can she give us examples?
Are comfortable taking.
No. She deleted them.
Before even being cast in Wicked, I had received comments just as me, as Marissa, not Nessa, around the words of stand up for yourself. I guess you can't stand him, etc.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah. Okay. So the whole deal is that, okay, I was cast because in real life I have a disability that matches the fictional character that I'll be portraying. So you can make fun of the fictional character, but you can't make fun of the element of the fictional character that I as well share in real life. Therefore, you're insulting me.
Can someone
Get
help me
a
out
life.
with this? Because I saw the musical like 10 years ago. I don't really remember it. Is the character in a wheelchair in the musical as well? Or did they make that up for the movie? Chat, help me out here. If anyone has seen the musical, let me know.
I think
if the wheelchair is in the musical as well. Because if the musical was there, if the wheelchair was there in the musical, then cool. Okay, they're just staying true to that. But if not, this is just one massive virtue signal right here.
For some reason, I think it is in the book and the musical. Somebody hasn't said it yet, but when they do, it's
okay. Ben Dowdy says it's in the book and in the musical.
As again, I try to reiterate, the book is even more so like proto woke than anything in the original play. From what I gathered, I've never actually read it, but yeah.
Daniel also proves that yes, it is. Oh, okay. Well, fine. Yeah, then that's not a massive virtue signal then.
Tom, you're also a male, so you didn't read the book, and I can't even. Yeah, so
you didn't interpret it correctly.
I did read most of I don't know how many of them there are altogether anymore, but I can't even remember because I think there's like 13. But I've read some of the Oz books when I was a kid. I'm very well knowledgeable about the differences between the movies and the books. I know which movies are actual canon and which ones aren't.
But those don't count, Tom. Wicked counts. Only Wicked counts.
Well, that's the sad part now, is you have a whole generation of kids where this is their new Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem I have, is that they're associating it so heavily. And everybody who says, like the thing that Andre said, and I wasn't jumping his case, but it's like, everybody keeps saying that. It's like, yeah, but even the trailers sell this like this is the story you have never been told about the Wizard of Oz. And it ties directly into the MGM film, right? And I've said before, just like the witch was never green before the MGM film. I don't know if they used the ruby slippers specifically in this, but if they did, that means they had to pay for them.
They do.
So then they had to pay for them.
Yeah.
So right there does actually do some license connection right there. Because that's the one thing that usually disconnects anything else from everything else, because I believe that Warner Brothers can't go after anybody for the witch because, we've adopted that look as like a normal, generic look for a witch. But
I have one answer.
Go ahead, please.
Get off of fucking social media.
Boom.
There you go. I mean,
exactly.
All she's describing is the nature of social media. It's nice people. There's trolls. There's assholes. That is its nature. The fact that she's shocked about getting this, and for someone so young, means she really doesn't understand the medium.
And has she even gotten it? Because again, as usual, I mean, how many times have we been here where we have some kind of actress that go and complain about how nasty people are to them for victimhood points, but no receipts are ever provided? My favorite is actually that actress from, I forgot her name right now. She's already forgotten. The one from The Acolyte, who was complaining
Amanda Stenberg.
Stenberg, thank you, about the massive racism that she had been subject to and stuff like that. There were no receipts of that. None that we were able to find. And then later in her 8-minute sub video, it emerged that what she interpreted as racism was objective criticism against the show.
And the other thing that's a massive change from my generation is that we did a lot of stage work, and the thing that you just don't do is read your reviews. And everybody I knew who was an actor on stage, we didn't even these people are into, I don't know, like peeling off scabs. Like it's just something they enjoy. This is a mania of theirs. Or they go up to every blackboard they see and draw their fingers down it because they want to be in fucking pain. Don't read the stuff. We didn't read our reviews because we didn't want to know how badly we were shat on by the critics.
You're right. It's like they're looking for a needle in a haystack, looking for that victimhood. Yeah. Just searching for it.
Yeah, and the people who are saying those things are not worth your response. They're assholes.
I've been saying for years, and I've been on the internet. Like I've got 2 feet, one before the internet and one after the internet. And I've been on, so quote unquote social media or interacting with people through text since like 1997 or something. And I truly do believe that the way things have been going the last several years with social media, and especially the youth of our world, or just even adults, there used to be a class you'd always have to take in school, home economics. I think there needs to be some kind of social media economics or something where it's like, look, these are words on a screen. We have to reteach, sticks and stones apparently, because nobody can understand this anymore. Words on a screen. These people are, if you don't, first off, even if you read it, you have not been harmed. And if you don't want to know, don't read it. I mean, this lesson, everybody seems so, it seems so immediate, and the fear of missing out element of social media, everybody's exposing themselves to it, but they don't have any, or seemingly, either they're using it for their own propaganda in this case, which feels like it, or they psychologically actually take in these things and internalize them and harm themselves through some random guy on the internet saying some sideways thing about them. We need to find a way to mitigate this somehow.
I am so surprised that they don't get it themselves, considering that quite likely a lot of these people have been trolls themselves. They just don't like it when it's directed at them. I am sure she's said some hateful things about other people who like don't believe in trans issues or something like that. Has gone after them and has gone after or gone after them big time. Like I was just looking at her up just to make sure her tits were big. They're not. So anyways,
they look big here.
Yeah, I know, but they're not. I just checked her out.
Damn you.
She's got mixed race parents, which is that is the style of the day. And so that this is the duality of it that I don't let. They're so immersed, they know it, they get it. I saw Six's remark, and she's absolutely right. They don't understand. What's funny is, and this was one of the problems with Gamergate 1, was the culture was toxic, but it was kind of fun, mean, nasty all the time. Like, we knew that everybody was an asshole, so no one took it seriously.
Right.
It's when the general public got a peek into the lascivious, crazy, boys who haven't had sex in years kind of world of weirdness. They were offended by it when it was our world. This was our, don't come into our world and tell us what to do or how we should be talking with each other. This is how we've been talking with each other since we were on CompuServe and on Prodigy. Fuck off. Like, even
way before that. Dude, we were the same people that bitched about Michael Keaton being casted as Batman, remember?
Well, those I'm talking about, were BBSs. Yeah, you had BBSs also. And the thing is, that was our culture. And then suddenly you were shocked that this is the way we talked about other people. And when other people came into our group and we brutalized them, they were, oh my God, this is a personal attack. No, this is how we treat each other. This is the way we talk to each other. And the fact that she can't grasp this is the way social media works is astounding.
Follow the Prime Directive. Do not interfere with other cultures and civilizations.
There you
Leave
go.
them alone.
Yeah, perfect.
And they're still stretching and pretzeling themselves. And I know you got to leave here, Scribe, so I'll let you dip out here. But I mean, I was dealing with the same shit all weekend with the whole John Boyega thing, because I actually ratioed the fuck out of some idiot because they were trying to claim there was a bunch of racism over John Boyega when Force Awakens trailer first dropped. And I'm like, no, there wasn't. I'm like, you're misinterpreting a whole, half a dozen idiots who weren't smart enough to think for 2 seconds that by the time we get to the OG trilogy, those are no longer clone troopers. They're called stormtroopers for a reason. And there's all kinds of other stuff. It's like, no, normal people are stormtroopers now. Nobody with half a brain said that shit. And I don't remember seeing any racism out there whatsoever. But you had the media feeding into that, asking John Boyega how he felt about those racist comments. And that's the kind of shit that happens here. And I was going to give you the last thought on that, Scribe, as you plug your wares and check out here.
Well, I mean, taking advantage of the entire idea of representation. If one person says a thing and they are, or you assume them to be part of some demographic or another, you can then say, oh, see, this person represents the entire demographic and now I'm going to be a victim forever because I've been told since I was a little kid that anybody who says anything that could be interpreted as an ist or an ism makes me a martyr. And now I'm going to go on a video and say, you know, somebody said something sideways about a fictional character I'm portraying, and now I'm offended, and I just want everybody to know that that's not cool. That's not good, guys. Also, see my movie, buy my thing, and also employ me in my next role.
There's still 3 minutes left of this conversation.
Oh, sure. I'm sure she's got plenty to say. But anyway, I got to split for work stuff.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to advertise tomorrow night. I don't exactly know the time. I think maybe after Mead, if I can make Mead tomorrow night. I'm over on 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser, where I've been recruited to review License to Kill in Nick Weiser's series of Bond film reviews. And it was only because of scheduling. It's not my favorite Bond movie, and I'm reminded why it's not after watching it again last night. But I'll talk about that tomorrow on 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser's channel. Right. And then Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, TED Excellence, where I go over TED and or TEDx talks of note or not note, depending on the circumstances, with bingo and fun. And want to thank you guys again for having me on, and nice to see you, Paul and Culture. Well, Andre, I almost like Jaguarized your name there for a second. I apologize. Andre.
Well, everyone is wrong anyway, so it's fine.
It's okay. But everybody have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you on the next one.
Take care.
See you,
so let's finish up this video and see what else he's got to say.
These comments aren't original. And when these jokes are being made by non-disabled strangers with a punchline of not being able to walk, it very much feels like laughing at rather than laughing with.
And again, that goes along with what Paul said. These are fucking strangers. It's not like it's Gene Shalit.
Yeah.
Like, get over it.
And I'm literally shaking a little bit. The most frustrating part about all of this is how scared I am to even post/talk about this, which is also the bigger reason as to why I'm making this video in the first place. This goes so far beyond me, Marissa, just needing to ignore comments on the internet. These comments do not exist in a vacuum. Aggressive comments of wanting to cause harm and push Nessa out of her wheelchair, or that she deserves her disability, are two very gross.
Welcome to the left mentality, lady.
Wow.
Because that's the only time I've ever heard shit like that. I've never heard anybody on certain sides say, yeah, I'd like to push somebody out of a wheelchair, or they deserve that disability. But I have heard, cancer wished upon people, death wished upon people. You name it. Yeah. Or I've never seen somebody suddenly turn so racist and call somebody an N-word when you disagree with them than I have. You know what I'm getting at? Anyway.
Yeah.
And harmful comments that real disabled people, including myself, have heard before. I am scared also because I have seen firsthand what has happened to my disabled peers who are outspoken online when it comes to calling out ableism, and why jokes of standing and being a vegetable, which is a derogatory term, by the way, for disabled people, and a comment that I saw about Nessa. These disabled creators' comments are flooded with ableist comments. When speaking on ableism, they're told to just take a joke, and that they're asking for too much and to stop complaining, to the point where some of my disabled...
Who would make that kind of joke anyway? She's not a vegetable. She can talk. Vegetables don't put up a struggle at all.
Disabled peers, these disabled creators, have needed to take a break online for their own mental well-being. To state the obvious, that's not good. To wrap this up, because it's been a long one, rather than dismissing one another and claiming an experience can't be true because you personally don't feel that way about a joke that wouldn't have affected your demographic anyways, listen to the people or to the person that it is affecting and how it makes them feel. Thankfully, I'm at a place in my life today where I can recognize these jokes about disability are made out of ignorance. I couldn't say the same about Marissa 10 years ago. And it would have affected younger me a lot more. And I'm worried
That's
that a
sad.
younger version of myself is somewhere on the internet and is harmed by these comments. And I'm not claiming to speak for the whole disabled community.
Oh my God. I remember when disabled people had so much bigger balls. Remember when they would make the most racy jokes in the fucking room about their disability before anybody else
well,
could?
here, let me, yes. And I actually wrote a screenplay called I'm Not Deaf, which is, I had some friends who were in wheelchairs, paraplegics. And the funny thing about going into a store is that the salespeople would yell at them like they're deaf. It was one of my observations, that they would lean over and they'd go, I'm not deaf, I'm just in a wheelchair. But I'm going to tell you a very funny story. So Don Mills Collegiate, 1971, our school was the test site for Toronto to bring in students with disabilities. Okay, which meant kids in crutches, but they had, I don't know, some kind of cerebral palsy or something where they had to be in crutches. I can't remember what the illness is, or in wheelchairs, things like that. The big problem was, to make this experiment work, they brought in Mensa level disabled kids. We fucking hated them because they just wanted to make this experiment work. So they're so desperate that they brought in smart kids. But anyways, I made friends with a bunch of them. And one of them even taught me how to wheelie a wheelchair all the way down the hallway. And I can still do that. Well, I can remember one of the things that happened was that we had a multi-step library, and one of the kids in the wheelchair went over one of the little steps and then tumbled forward and just went flat on their back. And it was quiet, except I started howling with laughter. And people were yelling at me for being so cruel. And then the person got up on their elbows and told everyone to shut up. They said, that's what I needed. I needed all of you to stop treating me like I'm some, bag of cement. I wanted to be treated like a person, like everybody else. This is how I want to be treated. And then we hiked him back on his wheelchair. He's kind of overweight. And that changed everything. And the entire school just embraced all these, disabled kids. But it was so funny, the initial reaction of everybody in the library, teachers yelling at me for being so disrespectful to this kid that got flipped out of his chair. But it was hilarious. And I learned from that point on is that everybody just wants to be treated like a person. Don't be mean to. I mean, even regular people don't want to be made fun of, right? Like, you're not special in the sense that, well, yeah, there are more jokes available if you're a crip. I get it. That's not the point. But the point is that she's lost it. I think she's actually doing more harm than good.
That's what I'm saying. It feels like it's almost like hurting the cause more than anything.
Well,
but anyway,
I think we've had too much crying wolf as the problem.
Yeah,
because,
and I know you got to go here soon, Culture. So I don't know if you got enough time to finish this video or not. But yeah,
yeah, let's finish it. But I just want to say,
yeah,
she deleted all the quote unquote evidence. So why would I believe anything anybody's saying anymore? And why was this reported far and wide, like on NBC and other stations like that, when they don't have any evidence of it?
Wait a minute. Can she actually delete any of this shit? No,
she said
social media.
She said that she at the beginning of this video.
That.
Oh, that's true.
That's maybe a way of her saying there never really. That's her way of her covering up that there never really was one. She's making all this shit up. That's my point.
Well, no, I listen. I guarantee you there were things that people said that were hurtful, but just ignore them. I mean,
but since when can you delete other people's comments on a tweet or Instagram? Or any of that shit.
I think she's on TikTok, but yeah.
Even on TikTok. I never used a TikTok, but you can do it there. I didn't know you could delete other people's comments.
I don't know.
I believe you can.
Where?
Instagram you can.
You can?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can
No wonder I don't use Instagram.
You can also do it on YouTube. You just can't do it. You can't do it on X.
That's fucking ridiculous. Anyway.
When I'm saying this, and I'm not trying to, but I do know
you have
seen, not in this specific instance, but similar comments made on my disabled peers and disabled creators' videos to the point where, again, it runs them off the internet. That's not good. Please be kind. And lastly, I want to say one of the major themes within Wicked is having the ability to listen and to understand one another.
Yeah.
I hope that is something a lot of you can practice more and take with you. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Yeah. So I mean, you want to sympathize with her.
Hard.
Charitably, I'm not going to tell her to, to grow up hair. She just needs to find some strength to be able to deal with the reality of what things are like on social media. If she's asking social media to bend it to her will, it's just not going to happen.
In her defense, though, and this goes to what Six was saying, this is what everyone of her generation is doing. They're all getting their victim points in social media. I don't think this is a matter of her not understanding the rules of social media. This is a matter of her generation. They get likes and points for victim mentality. So she's going to be the biggest victim that she possibly can. So the bigger problem here, I don't really think is her. If anything, she's a symptom of a larger ailment that is brought on by social media and a generation that has become the weakest, most fragile generation ever, because the way that they gain status is by being victims. And here she is now in the biggest movie on the planet right now. She should be so happy. She has so much cause for celebration. There's another one coming. And instead, she goes out there looking desperately to find some way to be victimized. That's what's really going on here. It's a statement on the rotten culture among people of a certain age who are just looking to be victims. And yeah, fine. So she's in a wheelchair, but you know what? There's a ton of people in wheelchairs who aren't in the biggest movie on the planet right now. She really, in the bigger scheme of things, don't have that much to complain about, but she does it anyway because that's what her generation does. That's what social media rewards. You get clicks, you get people sympathizing, you go girl, all that shit, right? That's what's really going on here, and that's a bigger issue, and that is something that I don't know how you fix that, but that is basically how you destroy the populace. It's this way right here. These kind of people who have been raised with being victims, this victim mentality, if they can't get over it, they're never going to be like functional participants in society, because they're going to change the society for the much, much worse.
And I think that's a good point. And I think that's a good point, Andre. I mean, because it used to be, you had this mystique with movie stars, and for a while when social media started becoming a thing, most movie stars weren't on social media, but like some of the newer ones were, up and coming ones were. You had like your Kevin Smiths and others who embraced it. But then all of a sudden, now we have all these movie stars on, and I think that's the bigger reason why, Andre, is we have a whole generation now of, I guess we can call them movie stars in quotations, your Jenna Ortegas, your Rachel Zeglers, your all those people who literally grew up with social media. So there's no disconnection at all from that, right? Like, they're part of it. They're right there all the time. And it's like a live nerve. And why would you do that to yourself? Like, we're not even remotely as famous as these people. And we get shit like this on the daily, right? I get called a fat fuck or whatever hell you want to insert your insult here on the daily. And I just chalk it up to being on the goddamn internet.
Okay, I'll stop doing that.
Well, I wish you would, Paul, and just start concentrating on my good qualities. Like my
Wait a minute. What? No?
But no. But anyway, speaking of culture has to leave us here.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts on this wicked?
Yeah, I won't be as charitable. I won't be as charitable as Paul. I'm tired of people doing this. Look, if you don't have receipts, I don't want to hear it. If you want me to have any positive feeling or empathy or anything, I don't. You need receipts. I don't believe you. That's where we're at now. That's how sad we've become as a society and how cynical, right? I don't believe you. You can tell me all these things. Where are your examples? And I'm disappointed. And this is why we don't trust the news media anymore, because guess what they're not doing? They're not showing us the receipts. Why am I taking this lady's word for what is happening? Exactly. We now have to live in this world because of, AI and all these other issues that we're now being infested with. You got to show receipts. You cannot.
Well, because we also don't know the gravity of those comments, right? I mean,
gravity in what way and how it makes her feel.
Yeah.
Okay, but wouldn't it be better to have evidence of the comments in the first place?
Yeah, we've been dealing with that with all the way back to what's her name on the Star Wars thing.
Amanda Stenberg?
Kelly Marie Tran and whoever else you want to insert here. Moses Ingram, whatever.
Moses Ingram. I meant Moses.
Yeah.
But the press is reporting things, and this is why I'm not going to jump up and inform an outrage. I'm not inclined to believe people anymore. Right.
I'm even beyond. I want more than receipts. I want actual video fucking proof. I want somebody yelling the N-word or yelling whatever it is you're claiming to your face at this point. Because I don't believe any of this, because I cornered what's his face, that Robin Hood Director X, on this shit when he tried claiming that these were racist comments. I'm like, how do you fucking know the people making them aren't black themselves? Yeah. And he couldn't. Exactly.
You can't get out of that. You can't get out of that. You're cornered.
How do you know the people making these comments aren't in wheelchairs themselves?
They don't know. And they don't know. And again, I went through, I don't know, I doom scrolled for a while through this lady's claims and that linked video and everything else, and I found nothing out there. I saw somebody was like Scrablight was laughing, but somebody was selling wheelchair wheel covers. I mean,
I love that.
I'm like, is that anyway?
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There, you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey, and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe, and join us.